because the devil knows that, you know, in the millennium, our sin is going to be placed on him. He's the scapegoat. That's why when you see, like, you know, Illuminati puppets and people like that that's controlled by the elite, they throw up these devil horns, or you see the star and all this kind of stuff, man. All this stuff points to Satanism. It points to the scapegoat. The Bible said the devil's a scapegoat where all our sins will be placed on him, and he's going to bear the yoke of what he tempted us to do in our lifetime when we fell short of God's glory. So the devil knows this, people. The devil knows that he's going to burn for the things that he tempted you to do. So what he's trying to do is get a lesser sentence. So in the form, he's really snitching, because what he's trying to do is keep the people. See, his focus is on the people of God. His focus is to keep the people of God in sin. His focus is or to keep the people of God from falling short, to fall short of God's glory. And his focus is to keep people in sin. Why? Because if he can do that, then you're gonna be held accountable for your own actions. The only thing that the devil does is he tempts you, and he works with the law of passions. He works with the weakness of our flesh, and he works with that. And so he constantly hitting us, and the more he hit and the more we yield to the enemy, the result will be we'll die in our sins eventually. You know, he attacks our diet. You know, he got the elite, the Illuminati, Freemasons. They poison the atmosphere to cause these tornadoes, these hurricanes, these earthquakes. You know, he's telling these people to put things in the food to kill us. And we say, well, what is God doing? What God wants you to prepare yourself. He wants you to prepare yourself because he's coming back to destroy all this. He wants you to prepare yourself, because we try to get comfortable and complacent in this world. This world is not ours, man. You know, let me reframe that. This world is ours because the Bible said in Matthew 5 is given to the meek. But what goes on top of this world is not of God. He's going to destroy it all and rebuild it all. So it is time for us. It's high time, the Bible said, to get our lives right. But like we were saying earlier, people are conditioned, man, to believe man. And man knows this. And the conditioning comes from government, pharmaceutical, doctors, lawyers, courts, government officials. It starts first in school. Teachers. We are trained to trust the teachers. We are conditioned to trust the doctors. We are conditioned to trust the politicians. We are conditioned to do all that. That is, and then all the wars and stuff that we see today is created by the same people we trust. The diseases that we see today is created by the same people we trust. Okay? They poison your foods. They poison your food so you can poison one another. They created homosexuality, transgenderism, all this stuff, all that to depopulate. Now, remember we spoke about earlier about Joel Osteen and what's going on in Houston, Texas. Like I said, do not marvel if that disaster that happened down there was man-made because of depopulation. See, one thing about Satanists, they trust, they believe that when the Antichrist comes, that the Antichrist is going to give them immortality. That they're going to be immortalized with their riches and their powers on the earth. So right now you got the people, the Illuminati puppets coming up because they want this type of power when the Antichrist system comes. The Antichrist system is here, but the Antichrist is going to come in a body form. And when they come, they believe that they're going to be immortalized. They're going to receive immortality. So they believe that they are the mink and that this earth belongs to them. And so when they get to a certain point in their lives, they become gods. And the things that they do through mysticism is what? Is not wrong. So they can kill you on the strength of for the better good. And you got a lot of movies that advocating this killing for the greater good. You get what I'm saying? So what they doing is depopulating the world. You see, people are living past the estimated time of death. And so they got these chemtrails, they got everything that's going on in the world to cause you to get sick and die.
There is a growing citizens movement demanding an explanation of chemtrails.
And I talked to my NSA buddies at Fort Carson, Peterson Air Force Base, and Buckley, where I was actually their doctor taking care of the pilots flying and spraying the chemtrails. So I know it's real. If anybody says it's not real, they're full of it.
Cause you to get sick and die, but so many people are now eating right, exercising, doing all this, and they're living past the time of death. At one time, it was at the age of 55, 56, people died. Then they went up from 50 to 55 to 60 to 65. Then it went up to 70 to 75. People are living past the time of death. They skipping over the time where they predict the person's supposed to die. The reason why they predicted you to die in that position because what they were doing to your resources that would kill you quicker, you will come down with a pathogen. Watch this. So people are living past that time. So because people are living past that time, they got to do something. What can we do? Depopulate the world. HARP was set up over there in Australia to manipulate weather. Now, as you said earlier, as you said something about what Jesus said. Jesus said in his time, he prophesied that you would hear rumors of wars, that you will see tornadoes and earthquakes, and this is the beginning of sorrow. But what Jesus did not say was it man-made, or was it coming from God? He didn't say was it from the devil. He didn't say it would be man-made. He didn't say none of that because at that time was technology strong then. They didn't have no technology. So why would he say that at that time? It wasn't for those people. But now God showed us through the book of Revelations certain things that were transparent in our time. But he didn't tell them about technology. Because them people's mind wasn't there. Why would he tell them anything about technology? They like, what is that?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so he did
yeah.
not say, was it going to be man-made or from God or from Lucifer? He just said, you will hear rumors of wars. He didn't say how man would create them. He said you will see tornadoes and earthquakes. He didn't say it would be man-made or the devil, whatever. He just said that was going to happen. Matter of fact, it was wars from the beginning, but not big wars like World War I, II, stuff, big wars like that, Civil War that happened among the United States. He didn't mention, he just said rumor wars. And these are wars, he said earthquakes and stuff. He said that's the beginning of sorrows. What makes it the beginning of sorrows? Because man is doing it. Watch this now. What do you mean? Man created a system that they throw chemicals in the atmosphere. And mind you, God created the atom. God created the molecules, the compounds, the stuff that create stuff. Okay? Now, once you throw certain chemicals and mix in with certain chemicals, we're talking scientific stuff here, but when you start mixing different compounds and chemicals together, you will receive a cataclysmic reaction. Once that happens, there's a result that's going to happen on the strength of those chemicals that should not be mingled together. God, what he does is, he created the sun to evaporate water up. And then the sun melts the cloud and the water comes down. Okay?
Yeah.
But when you mix certain compounds together, with that, it creates a counterfeit. Remember, I think it was like 2 years ago or something, it snowed out of nowhere. And you put a light to it, it didn't melt.
Yeah.
It burned. It was like plastic. And I remember out of nowhere, we were sitting there and some hail came flying down and it started bending up your car. Big old hail came down. What is this? It's man using us as guinea pigs. What's happening? It's man doing it work, trying to see what they can do. Okay, the chemtrails, they're releasing certain chemicals in the air to manipulate weather, to manipulate your health. What are they doing? They're trying to depopulate the world. They're taking all steps to depopulate the world. One of the steps is transhumanism. What I was telling you about transhumanism, where man and machines become one. Why are they doing that? Watch this. Now they're setting up sex dolls. That's popular among people.
Now, we discovered that while you were at MIT, you wrote a thesis called Lazarus, almost a precursor to the current scientific movement known as singularity. Given that 15 years later you are creating a humanoid robot, do you still believe, like Dr. Kurzweil and many others, that mankind will someday evolve into, well, machines?
The devil hates men. I'm talking about M-E-N, not humanity, men. Because the Bible said men is created in the image of God, right?
Right.
When you look at me, the hair on the face, the arm and all that, that's how God created us in his image, right? And then he created the woman after his image. Watch this. And then he created the woman after his image. So, can you see the attack on me? Everything revolves around me. Men are dying in war. Man is getting locked up. Men get locked up everywhere. And we're not talking about just black men. We're talking about black, white, all kind of men.
Yeah.
Because most men is over there fighting is what? White men.
Yeah.
Most black men is doing what? Locked up.
Locked up.
Getting murdered on the streets. So men is under attack, no matter what race you are. And the devil, the Freemasons, the Masons created a system called divide and conquer. Watch this. Bring peace out of chaos. See what I'm saying? So what they do is they create the war, and once both sides is destroyed, then they bring forth a new age movement. So it's like taking a bird, like taking a stone and knocking out 6 birds. Because you're knocking down, you're depopulating those countries. You see what I'm saying? They're dropping bombs on Islamic countries. They're dropping bombs on countries. We want to go to war, Korea, threaten, and all this. You kill off a lot of people in the countries. And you come with order. Order out of chaos. You come with order. But this order is still, you depopulate. War depopulates. They putting disaster and chemicals in your food to kill you. And your water to kill you. Okay? Transgenderism, homosexuality do not produce people. You understand? 2 men, the other man don't have the qualifications and the organs within him to create a person. To be like an incubator or an oven to bring forth or create that being. We don't have that. Women do. So when 2 men together, that stops the population that he could have created. When 2 women come together, she don't have the semen to create the soul. That stops that generation. So if you keep that going, it's going to stop people from producing. Feel me? Now, transhumanism, machine and man coming one, machines taking over. They want machines because when you depopulate the people and destroy the poor people, because the poor people is the one that's making the rich people rich, right? You kill them off, what you going to have left? What's going to keep us rich? What's going to keep putting money in our pockets? Machines. Machines. You depopulate, you kill off, and you put machines. They're doing it now in California. Machines is replacing a lot of stuff. They said they're even working on creating a machine to drive rigs, 18-wheelers. They even got machines that actually drive Ubers. Now watch this. What did we see that at? We seen that where? Total Recall.
Where am I?
You're in a Johnny Cab.
I mean, what am I doing here?
I'm sorry. Would you please rephrase the question? Huh?
How did I get in this taxi?
The door opened. You
Wants to talk. Now, behind the elite is the hand that controls the puppet. But the hand that controls these elites, the elites got strings, and all these strings is all these secret society groups that control the world. Control blacks, whites, control all of them, to keep them in control. So what they do is, because it's millions of members worldwide, how can they communicate with them? They communicate with one another through movies. They communicate with one another through games, music, and all that stuff. So when you look at a movie, you actually looking at the brains of the puppet master, telling them what they're going to do to you. So we sit back and we watch a Game of Thrones, we watch Power, we watch all this stuff, and we talking about what's going to happen to the Dragon Queen, what's going to happen to the Lannisters, what's going to happen to all these people. We don't even realize that they're talking about killing you. They're talking about depopulating you. Like, for example, the dead, the winter's coming in the Game of Thrones. They're talking about the winter coming. What does that mean? That's the New Age movement. That's the wiping out of mankind and making them zombies. You can control zombies. The Matrix zombies, you can control them. So they communicate to each other, showing how they depopulate the world and how they can control. So they want how many billions of people in this world? About 7 billion or something?
Yeah.
They want to bring it down to a couple of millions. Because with a couple of million, you can control them. Homosexuality, transgender, transhumanism, wars and all that is man-made. It's man-made. So people say, well, what about, I heard a person say, if it's man-made, then what about Sodom and Gomorrah? Man-made! What in the world? There's nothing new under the sun. The Bible said there's nothing new. Remember, back in the time of Noah, we don't know how they lived. God destroyed them all. The Bible said, watch this. Now mind you, in the time of Noah, they was more intelligent than you or I could ever be. You know why? Because it was giants. And their brain was about the size of our head. You get what I'm saying? There was giants and their brain was big. And so when God spoke to Noah and told him how he wanted to build the ark, he didn't write nothing down. The Bible never said he wrote nothing down. He didn't write nothing down. It was there and he knew. That was closer to the creation. And there was very intelligent antediluvian people. We don't know what's probably going on now happened then. Whatever it was so powerful that and sin that they were doing that God wiped them out. You know what? All that come from them. The dinosaurs, where do you think that come from? Huh? They created that. They began to mix genes together. They began to clone stuff. The cloning and all that came from them. And the Bible said knowledge will increase in our time is because the knowledge will increase in our time because God wants us to understand his will. But man taking that knowledge and using it towards depopulating the world. So they took certain genes and animal genes and they had science wrapped up then that they created different animals and things that God never told them to do. So God wiped them out. You don't know what they were doing then. The stuff that we learning how to do now, they did it then. Amen?
Amen.
So what I'm saying is this, people. I'm saying that the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. What we going through already happened. The Bible said in the book of Hebrews that what is done now already been done. Already been done. We just new characters on the stage. And we just understanding what the devil been doing for many, many millenniums. There's nothing new about all this transgenderism and homosexuality. That's nothing new. Because people say, well, because it was a black chemist that states that it's certain chemicals that they put in food that a child, when they come forth, the child think that they're women. It creates feminine cells in the man. And men like cells in the women, and they're doing that, why? For depopulation. And they say, well, what happened in the time of Sodom and Gomorrah? You don't think they did that then? You get what I'm saying? The Bible said there's nothing new. There's nothing new under the heavens. So the things that we're doing now, the Bible said is already done. And so people playing right in the hand of the devil and his puppets, and they think they're born this way. They think that God created them this way. And by thinking this way, we are contradicting and we are warring with God. It's all about control, depopulation. That's the bottom line. And people like me that sound the alarm, they seek to silence. That's what it's all about. Because people like me, they say they stopping the peace. Remember Jesus said, who is it? Paul, he said, when they cry out for peace, that's when destruction can come. So what they're doing is, under the New Age movement, when everything is okay, and when the God of the Bible is out of people's hearts, people like us that sounded the Elijah's message, they would say these people are destroying the peace that the gods is giving us. And so they would try to silence them. Why? Because they claim that we are destroying the peace. But what did Jesus say he come to do? He said, I ain't come to bring peace on earth, but a sword.